Auntie. This is baby Aiden. I'm gonna tell you the story of how he came to be. Not that story. I mean, the labor story. I did try to upload a video like 2 weeks ago on Monday because my doctor told me that I was going to get induced on Tuesday, the 21st. And I tried to upload a video, telling you guys what happened, but it didn't upload on time when I was going to leave. So it never got uploaded, so I was induced. They scheduled me for 6 o'clock at night, which is terrible. You're supposed to do it for the morning. And it turned out that my dad had to sign some papers after he left, so I didn't get induced officially until 9:30. I was in labor for about 26 hours before they decided to give me a C-section. So yes, I had a C-section. I had an epidural. It was not terrible. It doesn't hurt terribly. It does ruin your back afterwards, and you have back pain. The recovery process for the C-section was terrible. I had to learn to walk again in the hospital. I was there for about 5 days. The doctor got mad because none of the nurses were letting him know what was going on. At first I was just thinking that he just wasn't going to be there, because after like 20 hours he still hasn't shown up. So I was like, what the hell is wrong with them? And it's because the nurses weren't telling him anything. And he was getting mad because I did sprout a fever of 101.7. And he was like, why haven't they called me to give him? I'm him now. Why didn't they call me to give her any medicine yet for her fever? And they kept telling Lewis that they couldn't do anything because the doctor hasn't given them permission to use any medicine. So they're liars.
Bitches.
I had to get the C-section because I was stuck at 6 centimeters on one side. The other side was completely, and he was coming down and everything, but his head started to get swollen because the other side just would not dilate. And then my cervix was getting swollen on that side too because, he was pushing down on it and everything. When they were finally getting all suited up and explaining to me what they would do with the C-section, all of a sudden there was this emergency. My luck, right? Because then they had to leave me there because my epidural had already worn off and everything, and they turned off the Pitocin. They didn't have to start it up until about maybe 3 in the afternoon, so that was pretty good. But they stopped it because they were too close together and my epidural was going away. So when the epidural wore off, I was very sad because that was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. When I first saw Aiden, I went nuts. I mean, little Mr. Hardcore over here cried. He did not look like anything, I had imagined. So it was very surprising to see him. And they both do that. They both go when they look at me. And I'm like, dang. And they both go. When it was like the last hour of being in labor, I was so angry. Stop it. I was so angry because I thought it would never end, and I actually screamed that at my doctor. I said, it's never gonna end. And he said, yes it will. I said, no it's not, no it's not. I had to learn to walk again after, the surgery and everything. And
we talked about that already.
I didn't explain the whole thing. And I remember at first when I first started to try to walk, I had to use the thing that they put the IV on. Yeah, I had to hold that pole and kind of walk like an old person. And I had to eat liquids only until, embarrassingly, I start riding. It was the second day? Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the second day I finally got to eat solids, and that was good. I was happy.
Yeah.
On the first night, no, it was the second night, Aiden got colicky, which is terrible because me and Lewis already didn't get sleep because we were up the 26 hours, and he was up with me. Aiden was colicky, and Lewis got frustrated because he was the only one who could actually get up and get him. So after he grabbed him, I said, okay, give him to me, because he went, ugh, when he got up. And I was like, okay, give him to me. And then we finally figured out that he was colicky because he was farting, burping. And he would wake up every hour. It was terrible. It wasn't even every hour. It was like every 10 minutes.
Like last night.
I remember 4 days later, I finally got to go home. I'm deathly afraid of elevators, like I've said before. And I remember when I was going down the elevator holding Aiden, I wasn't scared at all. So like, if something goes wrong, I have to protect him. I am currently living with Mr. Man over here. And Aiden has become a grandma's boy. Yes, he loves Lewis's mother.
He's smiling.
You love Lewis's mom. But he sleeps with grandma. He's well behaved with grandma. When he's with someone else, he's crying all the time. And then I overdid it, because when you have a C-section, you're not supposed to go out and stuff for like 6 weeks. Well, I didn't listen. And I was super active, and I even went to First Wednesday for church.
Which was the best shiznits ever.
I became in a lot of pain. Stop it. I became in a lot of pain during. And I was in extreme pain. It's like a burning sensation. And it was terrible. I had to go home and take a pill. A pain pill.
Percocet.
And it worked perfectly. But the only problem is I don't take pills for anything unless I have to.
You snort them.
It's gross.
You can inject it like heroin.
And I went to the doctor on Thursday. That's gross. I went to the doctor on Thursday and they took off my, what are you doing?
Oh.
They took off these stitches that are on my cut. It was
your piggy bank opening?
It was just it was just the little strips. So they took those off, and you know, they said everything looked good, but one little section is still hard, which could be bad or good, or we'll see. The postpartum depression isn't terrible, but you definitely have your moments, so be sure you have help when you are taking care of a baby, because when you get frustrated, you start thinking bad things, and that's terrible, and then you just need to hand them off and take a big deep breath and cry. Don't hold in your emotions. Don't do it. No matter what anybody says, just let it out when you feel like you have to cry, because if you hold it in, it just gets worse.
Do I help with that?
I always talk to Mr. Booty Head over here when I get my emotions, because he actually listens. And
say hi to YouTubers. Wait, this way.
YouTube. Say hi. Say hi. He was like, nah. And I'm going to upload the video that I took of me at the hospital. I did not get the contractions on video because they were worse than I've ever imagined in my life. But I did get some things on video. You get to laugh at me because I took a little pill to make me fall asleep, and Lois was taping me, and I supposedly saw a Christmas tree. My baby.
Like it. Let's see if he does it.
He usually sucks on his nose. What are you doing? You get him mad when you do that.
Does it get you mad? Let's see what you do.
Face. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. Poor little baby.
I'll be back.
Poor. Say hi. Hi, everybody. Hi. Do a little dance. Make a little love. Lean like a cholo. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, what?
Goodbye.
Stop. Recording.